How's it going, people? Thanks for hanging out. Orlando Luis Jr. And this is a film I just watched for the first time last night, and I was completely blown away by it. I'm definitely revising my top 10 list for 2021, and this is fighting for the top spot for number one. That's how much I enjoyed this film, and I really loved my number one film from last year. But I love films of this kind, films that take place in this time period or that are just done this way, made this well. So hats off to Guillermo del Toro for his creativity, his genius. This is a great story. There are great performances in this film, and uh, yeah, this is a film I'm definitely gonna buy when it comes up. Well, I believe it's already out on Blu-ray, so as soon as I get the chance, I'm gonna get my ass down to the store and pick it up. Uh, I'm gonna watch it again. As a matter of fact, sat down with my wife to watch it. She got up about 25 minutes into the film, and she couldn't uh, keep her butt in the seat because she wasn't interested. I was like, "What's going on? Where are you going?" But yeah, I enjoyed the ride for sure. I forgot to mention though, I gotta bring this up. In my last review, I talked about 1995's Heat, and I failed to end my review with my usual shtick, saying, you know, where you can find it on streaming. Heat, I believe, since it is filmed a Warner Brothers film, a lot of those movies tend to go to HBO Max for whatever reason. If you don't find it there or on any other streaming service, you can find the hard copies that they're out there. Here's the Blu-ray, and they do have the DVDs available. Of course, Al Pacino, Robert De Niro, Val Kilmer on the cover. So yeah, had to remember to do that this time since I didn't do it my last review. But so this has a great cast: Bradley Cooper, Cate Blanchett, Tony Collette, Ron Perlman's in there, Willem Dafoe, who I wasn't expecting. He's really awesome in this. He's always great. And this is basically a story about um, a guy that we're not really sure about. He's definitely, um, living life in that gray area. He's, a hustler. He's, sort of I guess, a mooch. Sometimes, he's just a guy that, well, at the beginning of the film, that's what he is anyways, though he does work for what he acquires, but not in the most honest way. And so I like movies about, grifters, hustlers, people that sort of have to live by their wits. And this guy definitely uses all of his talent, his charm, his looks, his experience in the circus at the beginning of this film. He shows up at this sort of a freak show at the beginning of the film and is kind of an apprentice to somebody and learns the ways of mentalism, uh, basically being a phony psychic. And he, meets a girl, Rooney Mara, falls in love with her. They have a nice relationship and they seem like a loving couple, but you can tell his heart isn't completely into it, just by his nature. He's not the most loyal guy. And yeah, Bradley Cooper is awesome in the film. He really surprised me. Excuse me. He's always great in comedy, and whatever he decides to do, he always manages to pull it off because he's definitely a true actor. Came a long way from the guy from Wedding Crashers and Midnight Meat Train. But yeah, by the time this was over, I was definitely haunted by this story and his performance, which is why, well into the next day, I'm still got this movie on my mind. So yeah, I will be rewatching this as soon as I get my hands on it, on my own hard copy. Cate Blanchett as the femme fatale in this film is quite, I guess, vexing at times because at times you're not sure whether or not you have a handle on her as far as her character. She's very mysterious, and at times you're not going to be sure exactly what her intentions are, which is sort of meant to be that way. So she is a classic femme fatale in that sense. Toni Collette is great in her part as a she's in a circus act at the beginning of the film, or carny act, I guess. Well, I guess technically it's kind of a circus, very old school, and just the film has a beautiful look to it. You know, you're gonna see all kinds of weird things in the beginning of the film as far as all the freak show stuff goes. Some very creative images. You know, you're gonna see the kinds of things that you expect out of a Guillermo del Toro film in terms of just beautiful shots and pacing that just really moves at a steady flow. This film does not slow down for anything, and when it does, it's something that needs to be there. Nothing in this movie I felt didn't need to, or there was nothing in this film that I felt could be taken out or needed to be taken out for as far as time goes. It is sort of lengthy, goes to the 2.5 hour mark, but it's definitely a journey. It's definitely a ride that I want to go on again. In terms of just this story and great performances, I'm trying to be vague about this film because I went into this completely cold. Only watched maybe like half of a trailer. Didn't even watch the whole thing because I was like, okay, uh, I want to definitely check this out. It's a period movie, Guillermo del Toro. I enjoyed The Shape of Water, love Blade 2, like a lot of his films. So, this was definitely right up my alley, Nightmare Alley. And I wish I had the hard copy to show people, but, you know, I'm definitely going to pick it up, like I said. And this is definitely on streaming. You can definitely find this right now on HBO Max and also on Hulu. Um, so yeah, you can definitely find it. It's out there, and definitely one of the best films of last year. This is not a box office hit, which is unfortunate because usually all the box office hits, tend to be more like popcorn movie fare, and it is unfortunate that a lot of these films do get overlooked, um, just because of the nature of the business. But people will find this movie, and I think they will eventually through as time goes on. This is going to be one of those movies that's going to be talked about more and more throughout the years. This definitely feels like has potential to be a cult classic if it's not a complete success in terms of box office. Critically, though, this movie is killing it. All the critics seem to love it, and I can completely understand why. It's a beautiful looking film, meticulously shot, acted to perfection, and I'm just completely haunted by it. This movie has a great sense of irony when it's all over, and I think people will really get a kick out of this. Don't exactly worry if you're halfway through the film if you're not sure exactly where it's going. For me, that was really most of part of the enjoyment of it, because every now and then I don't really want to be able to predict what's going to happen in a film. I like to be surprised. And some people, like my wife, got up about 25 minutes into the movie. She didn't have the patience for it. She was like, where is this going? What's this story about? And the movie will take its time before it lets you know exactly where the story is heading. But even when it gets to the third act, it's not exactly gonna telegraph itself. It's just gonna unfold itself. And so, if you're a fan of that kind of story that just slowly unravels and is unpredictable, and if you can enjoy that kind of thing, if you can enjoy not exactly sensing where something is heading, then this is gonna be a film for you. So please check it out. Great film, 4 stars. Nightmare Alley. It's on Hulu and on HBO Max. So yes, that's gonna do it for now. And it looks like this is the most newest film I reviewed. I tend to only do classic films, but I can definitely see this being a classic in the future. So there you go. So thanks for hanging out with me for a little bit. Very much appreciate you. I'm Orlando Ruiz Jr. Everybody take care. Be sure to like, subscribe, comment, share. And until next time, God bless.